What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video, and I'm very excited because I just read an incredibly exciting and detailed report by David Lynch. He is reporting for the Standard newspaper and he's saying that Liverpool will have a big summer transfer window in the transfer market because Liverpool are in a very healthy financial position. And in this video we will talk about Philippe Coutinho and he coming to Liverpool potentially on loan next season. What do you think about that prospect? Because I don't think Liverpool would sign Coutinho permanently, but why not bring him in for a one-year loan for a fraction of his total transfer fee and just try and get Coutinho a Premier League title next season, whenever next season can start. And also we will have some big transfer updates on Timo Werner, on Jadon Sancho, on Jamal Lewis, who could potentially come in and be a backup left back for Andrew Robertson. Lots of brand new information in this video, so if you are enjoying these videos, leave a like. I'm really excited to bring you guys these transfer news updates. And Liverpool are in a very healthy financial position according to David Lynch, who is reporting for the Standard newspaper. He says that because Liverpool had so much success both on the field, remember that we are about to win the Premier League title, we are Champions League winners, and we reached the Champions League final 2 years in a row, so Liverpool have a lot of money in the bank, and Jurgen Klopp will have plenty of money available to him to strengthen his squad. The Liverpool owners were never shy of backing Jurgen Klopp, and you also have to know that the Liverpool owners are one of the biggest spenders in the Major League Baseball league in the USA, which is also a very rich league. And the Boston Red Sox, who are also owned by FSG, have one of the biggest spendings each year. So Liverpool could be one of the biggest spenders in this summer transfer window as well. And also he poses the big question: how do you improve on a team which is winning almost every game this season? It is a question that Sir Alex Ferguson ruthlessly answered year after year at Manchester United. And also that was the success of the Manchester United over a prolonged 20-year period, that they could replace key players with up-and-coming great players who became world-class and who became superstars. And so far it looks like Jurgen Klopp has the eye to do this. Jurgen Klopp will likely follow that path and look to bolster areas where his squad could begin to weaken. And also his team Liverpool showed recently that you know no team can be relentlessly brilliant throughout the whole season. You are bound to have some dips and some bad patches, a couple of games where you lose your momentum, and that's what happened to Liverpool as well. And according to the Mirror newspaper, Philippe Coutinho is desperate to return to Liverpool, and many English clubs have inquired, including Liverpool, have inquired about Coutinho's availability at the end of this season, because he actually admitted privately that he should never have left Liverpool and that his career has stalled since he made his £142 million transfer move to Barcelona in January 2018. He had an absolute nightmare season at Barcelona. He is having a much better season at Bayern Munich, where he is scoring some goals, getting some assists, and he's playing quite a few games. He's not like an ever-present first teamer, but he's still having a pretty decent season. But his own standards, I think, are so high that really Coutinho should have much higher numbers at Bayern Munich than he has right now. But still, scoring 9 goals in 32 games is pretty decent for Bayern Munich. But the bad news is that most of those goals came against the bottom 10, the bottom 9 clubs in the Bundesliga. And also Coutinho is having trouble with staying at Bayern Munich, because Bayern Munich looks like they won't extend the loan to a permanent deal, so they don't want to take on the option of buying Coutinho because it would cost them a lot of money and they feel that they don't get that value from that money. And that is why I'm saying, and the newspaper is saying also, that many Premier League clubs, including Liverpool, are looking at Coutinho and not to buy him permanently, because we know that his permanent transfer would cost something between 50 and 80 million pounds. And even though he's 27 years old, so he's at a good age, you don't want to spend this incredible amount of money on a player who lost his way basically in the past couple of years, and you don't really know what kind of output he will have on the pitch for you. But on a loan deal, I mean, if a loan fee is like 10-15 million, would you take Coutinho for like 10-15 million plus of course his wages? Would you take him on for a season? And I watched so many compilations of Coutinho's years at Liverpool, and honestly I think he could rediscover himself and rediscover his world-class performances at Liverpool, because I think this is his home. This is where he became a man. This is where he became a world-class playmaker, and I think that he misses Liverpool. And of course he has still a lot to offer, in my opinion. So Bayern Munich signed Coutinho on loan for just a £7 million loan fee, and they also agreed to pay Coutinho £240,000 per week. And I think Liverpool should only pay Coutinho around 200 or maybe £150,000 per week, but his loan fee could be 7 to 10, maybe even 15 million. Even at 15 million, I would say it's worth to have Coutinho just for one season, just to try and lift Liverpool to even a higher level. Because imagine when, Liverpool have problems creating chances up front, the front three is not firing on all cylinders, you would have Coutinho in your midfield instead of maybe Wijnaldum in some games. And you could have Coutinho, Henderson and Fabinho. Henderson and Fabinho would stay back a little bit, and Coutinho could go forward and be very creative and help Liverpool score goals from midfield, get assists, and also get that creative spark back into the Liverpool midfield, which I think at times has been lacking, mainly because Naby Keita has been injured so much, and also Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain had so many injury problems in the past 2 years as well. But not just Liverpool want Coutinho. Manchester United, Arsenal, Tottenham and Chelsea also want Coutinho on loan, and they have inquired about him as well. So I think that Jurgen Klopp would love to see Coutinho back at Anfield if it's a reasonable price, and that's why I'm saying that a loan move could be perfect for all parties, because I think Barcelona are in denial if they think that anybody would pay 80 to 100 million pounds for this Coutinho. The Coutinho at Liverpool was at the peak of his career and he was absolutely amazing, but he lost his way, and I think that Coutinho struggling to find form in Barcelona, struggling to find form in Germany, basically cut his transfer price in half, and he is now worth between 50 and 75 million pounds. But I don't think Liverpool should pay even 50 million pounds for Coutinho at 27, 28 years old. I think that we should just loan him in for one season, let's see how he is, and then maybe sign him for a cut price deal if he is as incredible as he was in his last 2 seasons at Liverpool. And former Arsenal and Barcelona midfielder Emmanuel Petit, who also won the World Cup with France, reckons that Coutinho feels a very big regret, and it's a similar regret to when Petit left Arsenal for Barcelona, and he openly spoke about his mistake, and he believes that Coutinho is in a similar situation. And this is what he said in an interview: "If I was Philippe Coutinho, every morning I would wake up and think to myself, why did I sign for Barcelona? Why did I leave Liverpool?" And do you know why I say this? Because I can remember the time when I would wake up, when I was at Barcelona, when I left Arsenal, and I was thinking exactly the same thing. Why did I leave? Why did I leave Arsenal? And to be honest with you, I'm sure Coutinho has been asking himself the same questions for a while now. He left for Bayern Munich, he does something, sometimes play well there, but he's not really a first team player every time. If Coutinho is honest with himself, since he left Liverpool, they won the Champions League and they are on the way to winning the Premier League. Liverpool haven't needed him, so why would he go back to Liverpool? I would say that, yes, you could say that if overall Liverpool haven't needed him, but in some games I think Liverpool needed a Coutinho type player, especially like you could see when we lost some games in the Champions League, we lost some games in the Premier League, or we have struggled, like especially last season, where we struggled in some games, where we had some games where we drew too many games we had a 7 or 8 game period when we have drawn 4 games, and those games were sometimes against Everton, Man United, Leicester and West Ham. We struggled to break them down. They just parked the bus and Liverpool lost that creative spark up front. And that's where Liverpool lost the title last season. Also this season, I think in some games where we went out of the League Cup, that was mainly because of scheduling issues, but also in the FA Cup, Coutinho would have been very useful against Chelsea. So it's a very, very hard problem to solve for Liverpool. How do you get more creativity into midfield without disrupting the balance? And I think Naby Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain are very, very good players, don't get me wrong, but I think Coutinho is still on another level to them. Coutinho is still on a higher level for me, or in my opinion. But yeah, let me know, what do you think about this? Do you agree that Liverpool would be foolish not to be interested in bringing in Coutinho on loan, or not? Let me know, what do you think about that? And David Lynch said this in the Standard report. I don't think anyone, even Jurgen Klopp, could definitely state that Timo Werner will be a Liverpool player next season just yet, but the signs are very good, very promising. The player is very keen to move to Anfield, and the fact that he seemed open to the idea of fighting for his place when asked about the interest last month will have ticked a lot of boxes for Jurgen Klopp and for Liverpool. Alongside that, he's a player with a remarkable goal-scoring record, experience of playing in a similar setup, and Timo Werner is still just 24 years old. He just turned 24, so he's a very young player. And in terms of the profile Liverpool tend to go for, it's hard to imagine a better fit for Liverpool this summer than Timo Werner. This one will surely get moving once football resumes. And David Lynch was also asked, will this be a big summer for Liverpool and should they prioritize Sancho or Werner? And he said if Liverpool wanted, this could be a very big summer for them, because they have a lot of money, they are in a very strong financial position because of their recent success. But that said, I cannot see them making a 100+ million pound move for Jadon Sancho instead of going for someone like Timo Werner, who would not only be much cheaper, but also probably more willing to wait for his chance at the moment. Jurgen Klopp has no intention of losing Sadio Mane or Mohamed Salah this summer. Also, the idea of both Werner and Sancho coming seem fanciful, even if that would be a dream scenario for a lot of fans. You also have Takumi Minamino to add to the attacking mix next season. He's expected to make a big impact after seeing his playing time limited since joining in January. And he was also asked about Minamino, will he be a success at Liverpool? I'm absolutely convinced that he will. I remember being stunned by his performance for Salzburg at Anfield earlier this season and making him out as one to watch. That was long before we knew he would end up at Liverpool. It's been a slow start for him, but that was to be expected in a new league and at a club who are fighting for the very top honours. I'm sure he will be a big part of what Liverpool do next season, because he has the pace, the touch, the work rate and the personality to be a success at Liverpool. And he was also asked, David Lynch, about Liverpool. Are they looking for a backup goalkeeper? What will happen with Karius? He said a backup goalkeeper would depend on whether reported interest from Spain firms up in Adrian. Liverpool aren't looking to ship him out after his Champions League blunder. These things happen, but they wouldn't stand in the way if the offer to play first team football came and the player expressed a desire to leave. However, I'm not sure that would provide a reprieve for Karius, who wouldn't be happy to just simply sit on the bench and could probably do with getting away from the Premier League spotlight as he continues to rebuild his reputation and his own self-confidence. Could Jamal Lewis be a good deputy left-back for Andy Robertson? Lewis is a fine young player and he would be a capable backup at Liverpool after a whole season of Premier League football at Norwich. Would he really be willing to sit on the bench so often? Robertson is not only brilliant, but he's very rarely injured, so that is bad news for whoever is behind Robertson. The Reds have Neco Williams to support Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back next season, and at the age of 18, that is a role he's probably happy to take on. But Lewis is 22 and he will want to establish himself in the Premier League next season, whether that be at Norwich or elsewhere. What about Kai Havertz? Kai Havertz is a player Liverpool like very much, but it is hard to see Michael Edwards being tempted given the sort of ridiculous price tags currently being put on Havertz. Liverpool are willing to shell out massive sums on players who are guaranteed starters who immediately enhance the first team, like Alisson, like Van Dijk. Is a 20-year-old Havertz as talented as he really is? Is he really that kind of player who could come into the starting 11 and enhance and elevate Liverpool to the next level? As for Kevin De Bruyne, even if he was desperate to leave Manchester City after their Champions League ban, it is hard to imagine Man City doing business with Liverpool. He was asked about Kevin De Bruyne, would he go to Liverpool? What are Liverpool's defensive options this summer? Liverpool are definitely keen on bringing in some defensive cover when the window opens. Last summer they attempted to sign Lloyd Kelly from Bristol to provide option at both left back and centre back, but he opted to join Bournemouth, and also Bristol asked a ridiculous amount, like 15 million, for a player who is actually unproven at Premier League level. A player of that profile, young, talented, willing to wait for chances, is likely to be targeted again, particularly because Lovren is set to leave as he looks for more regular football. And also Liverpool are very keen to tie down centre-back Van Dijk, who is the best centre-back in the world, locked down to a new contract, but David Lynch says, I don't believe there's anything imminent in terms of an announcement on that front just yet. That shouldn't be cause for concern, of course. There will be plenty of time to thresh a deal out over the summer, and the player is happy with life at Anfield. Van Dijk is currently tied up until 2023, so Liverpool hold all the cards if anyone were to come knocking for the irreplaceable Liverpool. And also Dejan Lovren came really close to securing a move away last summer before interest fell through at the last moment, but he remains keen to play more regularly. To his credit, he has got his head down this season and done a decent job and called upon, aside from the Watford game. I'm sure there will be plenty of interest in his signature. He will get his move when the transfer window opens again. And what is going on with Xherdan Shaqiri? David Lynch says, it's been a frustrating time for Shaqiri, who has just been able to get over who just hasn't been able to get over the torn calf muscle that kept him out of the early part of the season. A slight recurrence forced him to back on the sidelines, and Liverpool are doing everything they can to ensure that doesn't happen again when he finally makes a comeback. This enforced break has at least provided some more recovery time, so he has a chance of playing a part before the end of the season. After that, I expect him to depart in search of first team football, with the Liverpool asking for at least 30 million euros from any buyers. And do Marco Grujic or Harry Wilson have any future at Anfield? Both are clearly very talented players, Lynch says, and this could well be the summer where they depart Liverpool permanently. The standard you need to reach to get into this Liverpool team at the moment is so high that neither Grujic or Wilson have touched them during their respective loan stints. There is of course no shame in that. Their ability will likely be reflected in the big transfer fees they command in the transfer market. So that's it for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making it, and I think that this is absolutely brilliant that David Lynch did this report, because it sheds a lot of light on Liverpool's summer transfer business. And let me know, guys, do you think Liverpool need to sign a big superstar or two in the summer, which position would you strengthen? I would strengthen the centre-back position. I would strengthen the left-back position in terms of buy a backup left-back for Andy Robertson. Jamal Lewis could be ideal. I think he's a very talented player, only 22. Big question is, would he come in to play second fiddle to Robertson? I would definitely bring in an attacker. Both Salah and Mane will likely miss about 6 weeks to maybe even 2 months next season. So we definitely need either Timo Werner or Jadon Sancho, somebody who can come in and play in the absence of those players. And also I would get in a creative midfielder. Kai Havertz would cost a lot of money, so I would go for Philippe Coutinho on loan, but I'm not sure how the personal relationship between Coutinho and Jurgen Klopp is. Is that mendable, or do they have still bad feelings about the way Coutinho departed Liverpool, especially Jurgen Klopp, and also the fans? Would they forgive Coutinho for the way that he engineered and looked for a move to his dream club Barcelona, which I can understand. I mean, football is a business, and players look after their own self-interest first and foremost, so I don't have any like super hard feelings about Coutinho. He just did what he thought was best for himself and his own career at that particular time, and I'm sure in hindsight he regrets that decision. But if he never went to Barcelona, he would have always been wondering in the back of his mind, what if I went to Barcelona? And I'm convinced that Liverpool wouldn't be this successful if we didn't sell Coutinho for £142 million, because from that money we signed Alisson and Van Dijk, and the rest is history. Liverpool became this incredible powerhouse, best team in the world team, which I'm super happy about. That's the question, or the questions for you guys. Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. See you later, guys. Goodbye.